Hey, you want to hear a hot take? I think Folarin Balogun is one day going to be a £100 million striker. Do you want to hear an even hotter take? I think he's going to cause a minor headache for Mikel Arteta this summer. So, who is Folarin Balogun? Balogun is a 22-year-old striker who's just scored 21 goals for Stade de Reims in Ligue 1 in the 22-23 season. He's also just recently declared for the United States men's national team, and he seems to be developing into one of the better young strikers in Europe. Let me explain. In front of me right now is Balogun's Smarter Scout profile. Thing about Balogun, blue sections here, all very, very good. He's got a maximum score for shot volume. He was averaging more than 3 shots per 90, and both shots, as you can see from XG from shot progression, were rather good. You can also see he's carrying dribbles volume, and his XG from ball progression scores are quite good as well. Something else that's also very, very good to know, his receptions in the opposition box is 85. He's also getting pretty good at what I like to call hot zone hunting. So here's his shot map. You're going to see loads of shots inside the penalty area. The really interesting thing about Balogun is that he keeps going here to this area just inside the 6-yard box. That indicates a striker who's getting really good at timing his runs and getting onto the end of the crosses. He scored 15 goals and XG of 21. So even though his movement's quite good, his finishing perhaps isn't quite there for how to put this. Balogun is very good at traditional number 9 centre forward play. The interesting thing, and the thing that's got a lot of people going, and a lot of bank balances people going 100 mil, that's going to cost 100 mil one day, is this score here for progressive passing. Strikers don't often get a score of 40. The best striker in the world for progressive passing is Harry Kane. Harry Kane has a score of 99. Once, I was looking at a computer and I went, oh boy, it'd be really interesting if I could find a striker in the world who's just like Harry Kane, but cheaper. So then I went to Mark Carey. Hi, Mark. Me. And I said, could you find a way to take all of Harry Kane's attributes in his Smart Scout profile, put it into a computer, and we go beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Find me a similar striker, crank. Guess who came up on top? It's Balogun. He comes up top in a similar test with Harry Kane, alongside a number of other strikers and wide players that we need to talk about a lot. But number one on this is Folarin Balogun. He is good at the traditional things you want from a number 9. He's also getting very good at the Harry Kane thing, where you drop deep, collect the ball, you're back towards goal, and then play passes onto your strikers and attackers in behind. That's the sort of thing that's very, very valuable in the transfer market. That's the sort of thing that takes you from being a Europa League quality striker to being a Champions League quality striker one day. That's good. It's also a problem if you're someone like Mikel Arteta and you haven't quite got space for him. In front of me right now is a possible Arsenal starting 11 for 23-24. And as you can see, they are a good team. They are borderline great. However, there's some up front. Gabriel Jesus is really, really important to Arteta's system and was one big reason why Arsenal came out the box so well. However, he's never been a prolific striker. Across his 7 seasons in the Premier League, he scored 69 goals on a XG of around 83.6. That's nice enough, but he does have a tendency to miss big chances that in big games could be the difference between a draw or a win. It's very, very hard to find a striker that can do all of Gabriel Jesus' stuff off the ball and can be a 25-goal season striker as well. So Arteta goes, I don't mind, because Jesus can do so many things. He's my number 1 striker. When Jesus was injured, in came Nketiah. Now, Nketiah is more of a penalty box operator than Gabriel Jesus. He doesn't necessarily offer everything that Jesus offers off the ball or in pressing, but in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net, Nketiah is one of the best at Arsenal. He averaged 0.69 XG per 90 at Arsenal last season, more than any other player, so he's probably going to be the number 2 striker. There's also Kai Havertz, who's just joined Arsenal. So Arsenal really, really well stocked up front at the moment, which means can Balogun come in and get the minutes that he wants? The answer here is probably no. And this presents a problem for Arteta. He has a player who is probably worth 10 to 15 goals a season if you play him across an entire Premier League season. That's not good enough necessarily for what Arsenal want right now. However, he's a good backup. But your backup is Nketiah. Balogun's not going to beat Nketiah in the queue right now, and Balogun's made it very, very clear since returning from Stade Reims that he doesn't want to be a backup anymore. He wants to be a starting player. So if you're Arteta, you got one of 3 choices, really. You can either try your hardest to convince Balogun to stay at Arsenal and fight it out with Eddie Nketiah to be the number 2 for the times that, let's say, Gabriel Jesus can't play. That chance of that happening, not great. Give that a 4 out of 10. You can either try and loan him again, but Balogun's made it very, very clear that he doesn't want to go out on loan again. And to be honest, yeah, he's had one not great loan at Middlesbrough and one very, very good loan in France. So why has he got to live in a hotel again? He probably wants to play somewhere permanently. Or option 3, you can sell him while his value is really high after a good season in France. Now this is the tricky bit, because Balogun, as we said before, is a very, very good striker right now at a lot of the things that clubs of, say, Europa League quality want. And you can probably sell a player like that for 30 to 50 million. However, he's got signs in these green categories here, in his progressive passing and the way he's beginning to collect with his back towards goal and pass to other strikers and attackers, that he might soon enough be in between the 60 to 70 million price range. So Arteta's got to find a way to move on a striker, possibly, who could one day cost 100 million without clubs like, say, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, figuring out how good he is just yet. One way you can do this is put on a really, really good buyback clause on Balogun. It's been done before, but then at some point in time, you've got to make sure you can reel him back in. Or you can go for the other option where you put on a really, really big sell-on fee. So let's say you want to sell him to a team like Ajax. Let's say he sold Ajax for 30 million and said he's got a sell-on clause of 25%. If Balogun goes to the Dutch league, scores 20 goals in a season and Bayern Munich comes sniffing, which might happen. I mean, he's really good at taking shots and those shots tend to be really good. They tend to be really, really good. Then Arsenal can get a decent pay packet. But this is the story of Balogun. He's a very, very good striker now. That could be one of the better strikers in the world in a couple of years later. That's fun. It's also a small headache for Arteta, but we call it a nice problem. It's always nice when there's a very good football player who comes back from loan and is almost too good to keep sitting on the bench. So that's Balogun. He's a player good enough to start now for a number of clubs. Whether or not that club is Arsenal is up to Mikel Arteta, and then Arteta's got to figure out where to move him without the bigger clubs figuring out how good he is too early. Fun problem. Balogun, hope one day you make good on all that promise, because hopefully one day you're going to cost 100 million. When you do, I can't wait for people to come back to this video and say, hey, the start of this thing was right. Anyway, that's me. I'll see you later. Bye.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.